International Criminal Court officials jailed in Libya for almost a month say there's no chance Gaddafi's son Saif al-Islam will get a fair trial. The representatives were freed just days ago ahead of the country's parliamentary elections tomorrow. But the lead-up has seen bloody sectarian clashes with hundreds dead as one former rebel commander vows to prevent people from voting. Let's get more with a political scientist and journalist, Nabila Ramdani, and get her thoughts tonight. She's joining us on the line from London. Hi there. A number of analysts say Libya's government is using Saif Gaddafi and the standoff with the ICC as a distraction to keep Libyans united around the interim leadership, the NTC, and give it credibility. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a real concern that Saif Gaddafi will not be able to face a fair trial in Libya. That's very obvious to any observer. Of course, Libya hasn't been a stable country since the removal of Gaddafi for all obvious reasons. It's very obvious to anybody following the situation in Libya that it is not a country that is able to offer a fair trial to Saif Gaddafi for the very reasons that it doesn't have the structures to do so. And the latest developments involving an ICC lawyer being detained in the jails in Libya proves that. So I don't believe it is a distraction, but I believe it's a very serious problem that the international community should get involved in to guarantee that Saif Gaddafi, who's allegedly in prison for the moment and faces a trial for war crimes, should look at this situation very seriously indeed.
Of course, meantime, elections there tomorrow. Are you optimistic about them?
Well, I think people in Libya in general are very enthusiastic about something that hasn't happened in the country in 60 years. There is a sense of jubilation and excitement about casting a ballot for the first time. But it has to be noted that there is also there are concerns about a country which remains on the edge. It has to be highlighted that the eastern part of the country, the oil-rich part of the country, is calling to boycott the elections and indeed to sabotage the elections because it is unhappy with a decree issued by the National Transitional Council which would guarantee less than a third of the seats in parliament for the eastern part of the country, and has therefore shut down oil refineries in the east. It has attacked election offices and burned ballot papers, for example, and has been involved in clashes. So an awful lot of unrest, I'm afraid.
Nabila, has anything been done to address their concerns, the people in the east?
I'm sorry, Kevin.
Has anything been done to address the people in the East's concerns that you were talking about there?
Well, I think it will remain a concern for the country as it shapes in a post-Gaddafi era. This is, of course, where the rebellion started against Gaddafi, and we are increasingly seeing armed federalists which are seeking autonomy altogether. So this will remain a permanent problem that the country will have to deal with.
Every faction vying for that vote tomorrow envisions an Islamic Sharia law as the basis for the country's constitution. Is there any chance left for a secular Libya tonight?
I think it will be a test of strength for the Islamic parties, which have proven to be popular in neighbouring post-revolution countries like Tunisia and indeed Egypt. It is a highly unpredictable race with more than 100 parties involved, and nearly 3,000 candidates, individual candidates, joining the race. But there are clearly four front runners, and they are in majority Islamic parties. And for example, the Justice and Construction Party, co-founded by the Muslim Brotherhood, but there's also a secularist party led by the former Premier Mahmoud Jibril, but also a National Front Party, which was a Gaddafi-era opposition group, and a last party was founded recently by the former rebel commander and jihadist Abdel Hakim Belhaj. So these parties are likely to do well, and it will also give us an indication on how the government will shape.
OK, Nabila Ramdani in London, thank you very much for your thoughts there. We're following this story closely, of course, across the weekend.